Welcome to another Telltale Books video. I'm Greg, and in this video I'm going to continue my coverage of everything I can get my hands on by Stephen King in order of publication. And I've mostly been successful. There have been some that I haven't been able to get, especially a whole bunch of ones that he wrote as a teenager that only he has copies of and he's not releasing them. So I'm up to number 17 on my list, which may or may not be accurate, but it's the best I can do. And number 17 is titled The Blue Air Compressor. It's a short story. It was published in January of 1971 in a magazine called Onan. Never heard of it. I found the story published in this book, which is current. It is in print right now. You can buy it new. It's a brand new copy, Shining in the Dark, edited by Hans-Åke Lilja, and it's celebrating 20 years of Lilja's library, which is, I'm not super familiar with it, but it's apparently a very popular website that focuses on Stephen King's work. And what he did here is he collected a lot of stories that are a lot like Stephen King. And he says in the introduction, it wouldn't be a book about a book celebrating the work of Stephen King if it didn't have a Stephen King story. And in trying to get the rights for one, he came up with the Blue Air Compressor, which had never been collected. It had been published in that odd magazine, and it had never been collected into any of Stephen King's books or any other anthologies. So he corrected that and collected it in this book. And the book also has stories by the likes of Clive Barker and Richard Chizmar and Ramsey Campbell, The Telltale Heart by Edgar Allan Poe. So great book. Definitely go online and Google it and buy it. And I think if you're a Stephen King fan, you're going to like the Blue Air Compressor. Basic synopsis. A writer stops at this house to visit this old woman and goes in and is talking to her, but there's something odd about her. And she goes out to a tool shed and he follows her out there, and he goes out there and he finds out she has changed. And the Blue Air Compressor figures prominently in how he deals with this situation. It's a very creepy story. It reminds me a lot of something like the Dunwich Horror. Dunwich Horror? Is that the one I'm trying to think of? The one where he's at this farm and the kid is out in the barn and he keeps growing and growing and then turns into a monster. I'm forgetting which one of Lovecraft's stories that is. Excellent story. And this kind of reminds me of that. It's that kind of cosmic horror sort of story. Very Lovecraftian in its feel. It does seem a little more experimental than any of the others that I've read by King up to number 17. The story, it has a traditional narrative, but the traditional narrative is broken up with these sections where it's Stephen King talking to us, and he's breaking that window and talking directly to the reader, which works, but just not what I'm used to from Stephen King. It's a little odd. Yeah, but it's kind of typical of the sort of things that a lot of writers were doing in 1971. Okay. So, he was trying to be a little bit artsy with it. It was 1971. Give him a little slack on that one. And the story remains enjoyable, though, despite the experimentation. If that throws you, if you just work with it, you'll enjoy the story. It is really cool. So that is the Blue Air Compressor. Have you read it? Leave your comments. Any general comments about Stephen King you want to make, leave them in the comments section on this video for everybody to enjoy and possibly learn from. And come on back. Blue Air Compressor was what, number 17, I said? The next story is going to be I Am the Doorway, number 18 in my Stephen King bibliography. I hope you'll come back and join me for that and many more discussions about Stephen King works and lots of other authors. So come on back and join us.